And then so there's those patterns, and those are in the initial package because we have seen those are the top of the list for a lot of our clients to be able to monitor, and it's a gap. Like there's some other solutions, AML, BSA type capabilities that a lot of clients have but it doesn't meet this particular area or this particular need. So there's that on the fraud side. And then the other area of Notcha 26, it's about just overall governance and monitoring. So talk about the reporting package. This is the other main component. What are the dimensions of this reporting package that we've built out that allow our clients to monitor things they've not monitored in the past?
Yeah, so in the past, like Kim was saying, most financial institutions, or at least many financial institutions, didn't monitor their incoming items at all. So most of them need to just start by setting a baseline to understand what is normal behavior for us so that we know when it's deviating. So we're offering just basic packages to say, here is the amount of funds that are flowing in and out of the financial institution on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. Here are the SEC codes that your account holders are using to authorize those transactions. Here are the other financial institutions on the other end of those transactions and what portion of that volume and dollar goes to each of them. Because there's certain risk involved in that too. Because they might say like, well, we know Wells Fargo, we do a lot of trading with Wells Fargo, we know their practices, they're considered safer than say some other banks. Maybe they're new banks, maybe they're banks who do board riskier originators or have looser controls in place. So you would say, well, any transaction from them with additional rules maybe applied in place, right? I'm going to give additional scrutiny to those types of transactions. So knowing who you're trading with as part of the standard reporting package. And then to what I just spoke to, the anomalies themselves on a transaction by basis, here's the items that we see that are regular.
It's like sort of it's unique to RDFI, but it's that core documentation and compliance package that clients will need beginning next year. When do the rules come into effect?
2026. So we've got one in March and then in June.
Okay, sort of staggered throughout the year. So
I wanted to add one more thing is, when going back to kind of like the holistic view that I've mentioned a couple of times, when we're talking about this incoming, a financial institution should know not only what they have outgoing, but what they have incoming. You should know if you've got more that's outgoing versus more that's incoming or vice versa, because that right there is going to also help determine your strategic planning of whether you need to maybe source more deposits or you need to change up your origination program. You've got the ability to grow it a little bit more, right? If you've got more coming in that you've got going out and you say, all right, I've got this percentage that we can change to grow our program and have, grow our program by 20% more, then you've got that visibility, you've got that reporting, you've got that, you've got it to be able to show to the powers that be that make those decisions. And so it's really, really important that you have both sides of the data to look at. Because if you're only looking at that origination, it's very lopsided at that point. And you again, just need to have both sides of that information. So a lot of the stuff that's changing in the industry, with this incoming reporting, it's going to give the industry the ability to really get that holistic overview if they're not already doing it.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's like a good way to wrap up, and as we talk through the core challenge, getting the data in, and then the power of that, right? We talked about debit and credit limit management because that's a big tool, but then more generally, we talked about the importance of originator credit risk management and demonstrating, that you have a compliant program with respect to that, and then new requirements in the form of received transaction monitoring that haven't been in place in the past. And the essential message of all of these capabilities, and particularly the newer ones that we've developed around the analytics, helping our clients predict, it really comes down to if you can accurately predict your originator risk, which ones are high risk and which ones are low risk, you enable the most important thing you do for them in processing payments is about liquidity. It's about liquidity management. If you are good at predicting their risk, you can improve their liquidity position. And you can either charge for that and grow fee income, or you become like head and shoulders above your competitors, and you can advertise and you can get these clients to come to you and move all of their accounts, not just the treasury services, but the credit, the lending accounts, the investment accounts, everything else you do for their business. So it's so much untapped potential. So for FIs that have problems with losses, like debit losses, regulatory problems with being able to demonstrate compliance, we've always been the solution for that, right? But if you want to get into a position to grow your treasury services business and to make it more profitable and really have a proactive, dynamic approach to how you deal with customers and like increase the value of treasury services within the FI, and you can leverage our ability to help you understand the nature of your client risk, I think there's enormous potential for a partnership.